Here we are. Yay. Haha. So last time we talked about a lot of stuff. So today, like this part, we're still going to talk about a lot of stuff. Yeah, let's discuss conventions for a bit because I
Sure.
know that it's like you mentioned previously of how when you go to a convention, people are like, "Oh my gosh, you're the voice of my childhood. You made my childhood." And
Yeah.
you get meet all of these gracious fans. And also you met a lot of that actually does segue into you making the move to Texas, meeting a lot of anime people, like so many folks that work in the biz. So, yeah, would you like to share? I mean, I guess you kind of already shared a little bit of how it's like being at a convention, but yeah, like,
Man,
what is something that you really enjoyed the most? Is it the fan interactions? Is it getting to do panels, or what do you really like about it? Out of
I think
curiosity.
that I think it's kind of it's like a tie between geeking out over other celebrities, because I get to kind of rub elbows with them, and stuff, and the interaction with fans, because when I first got the role as Bowser, um, I went probably 10 years and was still just working my regular job. It wasn't making me any money. You don't get residuals. So uh until I started doing conventions, and then I realized that it's like, wow, people really appreciate what I do. And so I get a huge kick out of that. Little kids crack me up because they'll be like, "Can you do the voice?" And I'll, and they go, "That's pretty good." I'm like, I've had a little bit of practice. That's pretty good. And you know, and then you get the other end of the spectrum where they just walk up to the table and just demand that you do it while you're talking to somebody else. And then I burn them down with the eyeballs. But
Man.
uh,
Okay, so
meeting
I gotta ask,
meeting other meeting other celebrities, that's the other side of it that is just insane. I have met so many people that I have loved, loved, loved throughout the years, because I've been around a while. We were talking about this one earlier, you know.
oh, I
That's
was
you
just gonna
know
bring that up.
Loretta Swit and Jamie Farr. Look at it. We look like we're all related. That you know.
Literally, just
Um,
literally, yeah.
MASH MASH is still one of my favorite shows of all time. I watch it every day. It
Oh
comes
wow.
on channel 304, whatever
I
network
actually,
that is, in the morning for like
you know
2 hours.
what's
And I watch MASH all that. Now, that I will admit that there are a few episodes where I'm like, oh my God, I've seen this one 8,000 times. And I'll go back and watch, I'll flip back and watch the news some more, but to be able to meet those two in person was just incredible.
yeah.
So you were on to something here. You were about ready to.
No, I was just gonna ask out of curiosity, like when the kids are like, "Oh wow, that was really good." Did they not know that you played Bowser, or is it
Yeah,
like, "Oh
no,
yeah,
they
that's a pretty
do.
good." Oh,
Well,
okay.
like their parents would tell them that this is the guy who does the voice, and I'll
So they're
go,
like, "Oh yeah, prove it." Type.
yeah, and they're like, oh, that's pretty good. I'm like, yeah, I hope so.
So it's
19
like,
years,
I
you
do
know.
your tricks.
No, I did one time. I was talking to a couple of fans, and this kid, I swear, this kid comes barreling up to the table, doesn't wait his turn, and just blurts out, "Do the voice." I mean, like that.
I see some magic tricks.
But he was mean about it. He's like, "Do the voice." And I just looked at him. I looked at him like this. And his mom came up and she saw my face. And she was all like, "Oh, you need to be more polite, and blah, 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 blah."
Yeah.
Because I
Oh,
was all like, "You know what, kid? You can go and bite me." I'm like, don't come up and demand something like that, you know.
Yeah, don't.
Nice guy, but I do not, my own kids don't dare talk to me like that. And they're in their 20s and they probably still wouldn't talk to me like that.
Yeah, on etiquette, just don't be mean to,
Yeah. I
especially
mean,
to
be
voice
polite.
actors that are
Wait your
just doing
turn.
their
I'm
jobs.
talking to these people. Wait your turn. And then, politely ask, could you do the voice for me? Not do
Yeah,
the voice.
do the
Come on.
roar.
And
It's
so I
literally the same energy. It's
I
literally.
hope I hope they see this.
Oh, oh. Oh boy, now I'm gonna get like angry like comments of like, okay, Kenny was just talking trash about this one kid at a convention. How dare he? Ugh.
I'm telling you though, the circumstances warranted. I didn't yell at him. I didn't tell my
Yeah,
I didn't tell my handler to get rid of him or anything like that. I just looked at him like, how dare you?
be gone with you.
All I did was shoot him a look and then went right back to the conversation that I was already engaged in with these other people.
Hmm. Yeah.
So, because I consider myself to be pretty gracious, at convention tables. If there's no line, I'll talk to you until you leave.
Hmm.
People stand there and go, "Wow, I can't believe you're just talking to us." And I go, "What else am I gonna do?" I mean, that's why I'm here. I'm here to talk to the fans, man. I
Yeah.
love the fans, absolutely love the fans. So,
Yeah. And
I mean,
also in the
they make me stuff. Look at this. Somebody
oh
made me that.
yeah. Oh my, that's a one of those the bombs from the Mario games.
Yeah. It's like
Bomb
this.
bombs. Okay, yeah. I
It's like this
just remembered the name.
foam ball with
They're
it's
so
got
cool,
wick
though.
sticking out of it and all that stuff. And I was like, you gotta be. I barely could get it in my suitcase, but I got it home. Yeah, they make me really cool stuff and they bring it to me
Yeah.
and like
Mm,
and I'm like, I hope I have room for that.
yeah.
I don't want to
Um,
leave it in a hotel room.
well, there we go. I
What's
just remembered
next?
something else. On the topic of match,
Good.
I was just like, yeah, because it's really nice to hear somebody else be like, I don't really I mean, probably because I don't know which generation. I mean, I'm from the generation that was like into Cartoon Network and Nickelodeon, but even
Sure,
when I
sure.
talk to like people, like my parents, they grew up in like the TV land, like the 60s and 70s, but I was like, I don't really meet like a lot of parents from like the 60s or 70s, that generation that really talk about that discuss about match, and I'm just like, wow, okay, so it feels like my family is kind of like I really thought my family was like the only people that actually watched that show. But now it's like, okay, now I'm just glad that there's like more of an appreciation for
No,
MASH because it's so underrated. It really is.
exactly. The show was on for 11
Because
years,
you hear
11
people
or
talk about I
12,
Love Lucy, Mary Tyler Moore, Dick Van Dyke,
which were all
Munsters.
all
Yeah.
great shows.
Yeah.
Um,
Oh,
man,
yeah.
I was a kid in the 60s. I was born about 6 months before JFK was assassinated. So that's
History
how
lesson
far
for you.
1963. And there was a lot of TV, but we didn't have
Hmm.
what we have now.
Yeah.
There almost was no such thing as reruns, and it was like
We got decades TV. Yeah.
we had no way to
Channel station.
record stuff. So if you didn't see it, it was gone until, you know, like, oh, Christmas shows, cartoons like
Uh-huh.
Charlie Brown Christmas, uh
Yeah, Grinch.
Rudolph,
Yeah.
all that stuff. If you missed it, you weren't going to get a chance to see it again until the next year.
There
you
is
know,
no such thing as VHS or DVD, so it's
no,
like tough
no,
luck. Yeah,
no,
back in the
yeah. I
day.
mean, we had LPs, which are great. Um, when I remember when cassettes started replacing 8 tracks, and it was like, wow, this is the future. And then CDs when they came out. Oh man, my first wife and I went down to Magnolia Hi-Fi and bought a CD player, and we financed it because it cost $400. Now you can buy a CD player for $50, you know. But oh, our first VCR top loader, full size VHS, $800. Crazy. Uh,
Yeah.
yeah, I'm back going into the Wayback Machine now.
Yeah,
Woo.
Wayback Machine. Go, yeah, Internet Archivists, have at it. I do have a funny story about um, because for VO, I don't, because I know there's voice matching and voice impressions and stuff like that. I mean, sometimes I'll just whip out an impersonation of I don't know, a celebrity or somebody that I know
Sure.
because yeah, it would be because it's just kind of fun. You know, it's just fun to
Oh
just be
yeah.
goofy and just kid around in the booth. So what the other day I was looking at a couple of auditions and I was wouldn't it be funny if I just kind of did like an Alan Alda type of, hi, this is me and my wife here, just kind of do this Alan Alda type of thing, you know? So what if I did that and just did
Hey,
submit a take like that, you know? Yeah.
some of the most fun that I've had uh, at conventions was Pensacon in Pensacola, Florida, and they do. You might have heard of what do they call it? I can't remember what it's called, but basically, this was voice actors theater. There's another
Uh,
version of it, but
yeah.
what you do is you take
I
a chunk of a movie script, but you read it as other characters.
Twisted Tunes? I think I've seen
Yeah,
those like
yeah.
YouTube and stuff.
That's
Yeah. Stuff
that's
like that.
Jeff
Yeah.
Zanini. He's an agent.
Yeah. Okay.
That's his thing. But this was like a version of that, and
Oh, yeah.
I got to sit next to the official voice of Max Goof, from the movie.
Jason?
And yeah, and on the other side of me is Jim Cummings, who's Winnie the
Oh
Pooh and
my
Tigger
God.
and Darkwing Duck, and all this stuff. And I'm looking down this row of people on the stage and I'm going, God, this is so cool. And then I thought, well, I can't use Bowser because he doesn't talk. So I started coming up with what can I do? Okay, well, we did the cockpit scene from Airplane, where it's like
Oh, I love
you
that
ever seen,
movie.
you ever seen a grown
Yeah.
man naked, all that stuff. Uh,
Hmm.
I was Captain Over and I did Paul Lind. Now, my Paul Lind is not bad. But to be able to do the line, have you ever seen a grown man naked as Paul Lind was hilarious. I was like, have you ever seen a grown man naked? you know, and then there was another script where I did the whole Hank Hill thing because that's right in my wheelhouse. So but yeah, it's a lot of stress, but so much fun. But because I'm like, oh my God, what voice am I gonna do? What voice am I gonna do?
Yeah.
What voice am I gonna do? Because I can't go.
Yeah. Sometimes just throw something out there and
It's
just for
okay.
shits and giggles. Yes. I actually did a Paul Lynn for an audition once, and it's like, okay, I know this does not fit the character, but you know what? I'm probably gonna do something that nobody else has done. I mean, I don't think I got it, but still, I just did it for fun because, um,
I dropped my
because
coat.
Paul Land is just a very eccentric fella, you
Well,
know?
yeah. And a few months ago, I got to do a convention with Rachel McFarlane, who's Seth MacFarlane's sister,
Oh yeah,
and
yeah.
it not that it has anything to do with anything, but I was like, I'd really like to meet your brother, and she's like, like everybody wants to meet my brother.
She probably gets that a lot,
Because I
so
mean, Roger. the alien, that's
It's
that's Paul Lynde, only
yeah,
it's a scaled down Paul Lynde, you know. He's not doing the over the top thing. You know.
yeah.
So, um unfortunately, Paul Lynde was a very sad man. He was depressed and, had to be in the closet, because it was the time.
Mm.
So poor man.
Oh
But
yeah. Mm.
yeah, he was very depressed. But he was funny. You put him on camera and he's funny. So
Yeah, it's kind of the same when you listen to stories of like Jim Carrey or Robin Williams.
yeah,
Like all
Robin
of them
Williams.
I greatly admire because like especially Robin,
Yeah.
he really was the guy that he was one of the first actors that really got me like, oh wow, so you can do all of this for a living
Yeah.
and just have, making people laugh and just spark a reaction out of somebody. That's
He
something that I would love to do with what he
he
did,
was
you
he
know?
was so multifaceted.
Oh
Uh
yeah.
because I mean he was very manic. I mean, that's pretty obvious,
Oh yeah. Yeah.
especially in his stand-up stuff. I mean, he was just
Oh
everywhere. And but then you get, all the goofy impersonations that he did for
for
Aladdin.
Aladdin, the genie. Yeah.
And I mean, they threw out most of the stuff that he did. I mean, he would just
So
wing.
many outtakes, man.
Um, but then, I mean, he was also a very serious dramatic actor, you know. I
Hmm?
mean, the Fisher King, that his part in the Fisher King was fantastic. And I don't know. It's really sad that, I mean, Brad Delp from Boston, the band Boston,
Hmm.
Brad Delp committed suicide at 52 years old because he was depressed. It's like you're one of the best rock singers ever, and you committed suicide. I don't get
Yeah.
it. But truthfully, I mean, and here's something for your podcast. Once upon a time, I contemplated suicide. So as long as you've got friends around you and stuff, hopefully it doesn't happen. But at the time, I was this close to being homeless, and I was just all like, you know what? If I just made it all stop, I won't have to worry about it anymore. But
Wow.
obviously, I didn't do that. So,
Wow.
yay!
Really appreciate you being here. And
Well,
thanks for
yeah,
sharing.
yeah.
Seriously.
Well,
Yeah.
and my wife still says I have depression issues, and I probably do. But you know, she's fantastic. Uh, she's the better part of me, put it that way. And
Yeah.
this is my third wife, so I'm sticking with this one. This one,
Hmm.
this one's not going anywhere. I'll kill her first. We have guns.
Yeah, this conversation just it
I
took a
know, I
turn.
know. You know what?
Yeah.
Just imagine how many people might reshare. They'll share this because like, oh my god, I can't believe he talked about this.
And just take it out of
So let's get you
context.
let's get you some more subscribers, right?
Yeah. Bring me the subscribers. I need them.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Well,
Yeah.
I have a YouTube channel and I don't do anything on it. And I probably have 300 or 400 subscribers and I don't even make any
Yeah.
videos.
Mhm. Yeah, I'm just looking over. The funny thing as we're talking about this, I'm just looking over Robin Williams' filmography, and he was in everything,
Everything.
Aladdin, Mrs. Doubtfire, Jumanji, Good
Yeah,
Will Hunting, Dead Poet Society, which
yeah.
I think this kind of has one of those quotes that still resonates with me to this very day. I think it's Carpe Diem, seize the opportunity. This is something that I still quote
Yes,
to
seize
this
the
very
day.
day. Seize the
Carpe
day.
diem.
Yeah.
Just cause or like Summer on Rick and Morty. I'm too busy carpeing all those fucking diems. I met
Yeah.
I met Justin Roiland. He's he's funny. Uh
Mork and Mindy. Yeah.
that was one of those Justin Roiland from Rick and Morty was one of those celebrity encounters that I'll never forget because I walked over to
How
his
was it?
table. I told him, I said, Kenny James, I'm right over here. I was pointing at my table. I go, I the voice of Bowser in the Mario games, and he went, "Shut the fuck up."
Oh my
I went,
gosh.
No, I'm serious. And he was only there for Saturday. At the end of his day, I went over and I said, because I'd sat down at a table, I was having lunch with him, and I feel so bad because I can't think of his name, but the kid from Shazam, um, he was like, he was 16. He's sitting there just, just grinning ear to ear because he's hanging out with these people, and I'm like, you're the movie star. I'm just a voice actor. Um,
It's-
but but Justin Roiland, he was really funny. And then I said, hey, if you want to get something signed for somebody, come over to my table before you leave. And so I went over to his table and I said, hey, don't forget, come get a print signed. And he's like, no, 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 it's cool, it's cool. They had to cap his line, and all stuff. He comes over and I go, which print? And he goes, and he picks a print, this one. And I was like, cool. I go, who do you want me to make it out to? And he looks at me like I'm an idiot and he goes, Justin. I was like, Justin Roiland wants my autograph. I was like, yeah. It was great. I have somewhere over here in my collection of crap. I have
uh,
one of his
dude, like, you should see my room, man. It's like
I I
I have
have
so many posters.
I have a card here somewhere that he signed for
Yeah.
me. Here's another thing. See, like people make me stuff. This is a coaster.
Oh my gosh! Wow.
It's wood. Oh, and it's one of those laser engravers, you know.
Yeah.
Uh I want to get one of these. I could start making these and selling them at my table.
Yeah. There you
And
go.
I've got the Hot Wheels and all
Nice.
that. 5 different amiibos.
Yeah.
I, I think I've got most of the amiibos,
Yeah.
including my favorite one. My favorite one is the Skylanders Dark Bowser.
Oh yes.
Oh, baby.
Look at that, man.
Like that.
Yeah.
I love that amiibo. It's so cool. Anyway,
Yeah.
so podcast.
Yeah. I have so much of this stuff in the background. Like I
I,
still got like posters all over my room. I don't know if you can
and
see.
I
Yeah.
tell you, I've got
Yeah.
piles of stuff that fans bring me and give me and stuff, and I always go, yeah, I'm gonna put that up in my studio,
And I
and
don't get around to doing
they're just
that.
piled up. Um, I
Yeah.
do I do have a 2 by 3 foot poster from
Yeah.
Mario Kart 8, and it's
I never
signed.
had that game. Yeah.
It's signed by Charles and Samantha
Yeah. My good boy Charles. It's
and
Samantha.
me, and I signed it.
Yeah.
I was
Um,
like, why wouldn't I want to sign it? It's the three of us. It's oh, let's see. Here we go. There it is. It's up there.
oh,
It's framed.
yeah.
I don't know.
Oh,
You probably can't see any detail on it, but you know,
yeah.
but
I
it's
love that poster though. That
yeah.
poster, man.
The very first show that Samantha did was SAC Anime. I think it was 2019.
Man, I always wanted to go there,
Yeah,
but I'm
and
in LA. That's like way up in Sacramento.
yeah,
Someday. Never say
my
never though.
my appearance agent's in Burbank, so
Mm,
I
yeah.
think their
That
their
means
brick
I'll
and
just
mortar
probably
their brick and mortar office, I think, is actually a Hollywood address, but yeah, they
just
they're
remind me.
they're
Yeah,
Burbank.
remind me to bug them to get you into a West Coast convention here in LA.
He's always working on stuff. It's Celebworks with an X. Celebworks.
Extreme.
There we go.
Yeah.
Celebworks.com. Ding. they have a huge client roster, and there's a lot of great clients on this list. So,
You
hi,
know,
Mary. Hi,
yeah,
Chris. Hi, other Chris. There's two Chris's, one with a K, one with a C. So,
yeah,
but they get me booked out.
yeah,
Like I said, I've got MegaCon Orlando coming up, and then
yeah.
Anime Town Utah, Fan Expo Dallas. That one's a little bit easier,
Oh,
except
that's another good one.
I have to drive.
Oh,
I don't like driving in Texas, and I don't want to have to go and park there.
oh,
Southern Fried Gaming Expo. I don't remember where that
good
is. I
name.
didn't I didn't write down where it is. I got Fan Expo Boston, Fan Expo Chicago, and Tour Gaming Expo in Columbus,
Chicago.
Ohio.
We
So
did the accent, Chicago.
Chicago.
Yeah, but this does bring circle back to a convention. So
I went to
when you,
Chile.
oh,
I went to Chile.
oh, Chile. Wow, that's pretty
Yeah.
interesting.
I Luckily I had an interpreter, and luckily my interpreter was actually an American. I was like, wow, your English is really good. She was like, well, I was born in New York.
That explains it. But I was gonna say, going back to Charles and Sam,
Mhm.
because I know that because Charles has been around for a very long time, and Sam, I think
Yeah.
she just started doing cons, and she's been,
Yeah.
I mean, she's Princess Peach and Toad and some other
So
characters in the games, and yeah, so it's like getting to hang around with them. Getting to hang around with them is like, it's like, oh my gosh, I'm actually hanging with my co-stars and just meeting with my
yeah,
fellow actors. Yeah, amazing.
Sam Sam is one of the sweetest women that I know. She is super sweet. She is Peach, you know?
Mhm.
And I remember that SAC anime, that first show that she did, uh, Friday morning down in the hotel lobby, and I was like, "Oh, hi, oh, it's you." And she goes, "I don't know what to do." And I go, "Just sit at your table." And I go, "The fans are going to come up and they're going to be freaking out." And I said, "Just have fun with it." And she did. She absolutely loved it. So she still doesn't do as many conventions as I do, because she works radio. She does like promos and all this stuff. So she's busy up in Seattle.
Mhm.
And me, I'm semi-retired, so I'm all like, I just want to go do conventions. If I'm lucky, I only have to work one weekend a month.
Yeah. I think you also mentioned to me
Uh,
that Charles is actually in Amsterdam, if I'm not
yeah, he
mistaken.
well,
Which
the
I
last
actually
time
didn't know he moved.
Yeah, last time I talked to him, he was still in Amsterdam, but I think they had moved to a different house. But he's in that area. One
Yeah.
time I asked him, I said, "Hey, when do you ever go home?" And he goes, "I don't go home a lot." He said he'll do two or three shows in a row, which includes travel, so you don't have time to go home. And then he goes, then I'll go home for a couple of weeks. Then I go back out. He'll he's will typically do two shows a month, so 24 shows a year. Um, One time I was in the car with him going to the airport, and I said, "You going home?" He goes, "Nope, going to Kuwait." I was like, "What for?" He goes, "For a show." Okay,
Okay. Yeah.
I'm going to Kuwait, and bigger than shit on Amsterdam. On Instagram, I saw him post a picture with a guy, in the white robes and all that stuff, Arab kind of garb, like, and the dude's doing a freaking Mario pose. I was like, that's so surreal. But yeah, I would love to go. I want to go to Australia too. That would be
I would
fun.
love to go someday. We keep talking about Amsterdam. I keep thinking about the actor Moray Amsterdam from the Dick Van Dyke Show.
Maury
Just circling,
Amsterdam.
yeah, just circling back to Dick Van
Yeah, you had Maury Amsterdam, Rosemary, Dick Van Dyke,
Dyke. Movies
Mary
doing
Tyler
okay.
Moore.
Yeah, Godspeed. Do 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 do. Dick Van Dyke Show, starring
Oh,
Dick Van Dyke. Blah 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 blah.
starring Dick Van Dyke and Mary Tyler Moore. And
Yeah,
she
my
was,
mom still watches that show.
oh, well, I mean, that was good, clean television. You know,
You know,
it
I now
nowadays
we got
it's
like
like,
Netflix and all this streaming and stuff. So,
yeah,
we've kind of
if it
come a
doesn't have
long way.
sex, if it doesn't have sex and blood now, it's just not good TV.
Hmm. I
Except
mean,
for we really like the Curse of Oak Island.
yeah. I
Yeah.
guess Family Guy was onto something. So anyways,
I do likes me some Family Guy. But you know what my favorite cartoon is right now?
what is
Bob's
it?
Burgers. I
I
absolutely
I've heard
love
so much about Bob's
Bob.
Burgers. I've not seen a full episode of it though.
It. Oh my God, it's been on for like 11 years. Where have
I
you been?
know, I got no excuse. I should probably get on that soon.
It is a fantastic show.
I know
Um,
the movie just came out, so it's like
no, that
I
movie came out
I've
like 2 years ago.
I really have no excuse now. I mean, they technically
Um,
they pushed it back due to something
it's
something, but yeah,
well, it was probably COVID related.
yeah.
See, and there's a whole nother subject.
Oh
I
yeah,
built
I've already
during
just
COVID,
yeah.
I built a sim rig, for driving. My wife was freaking out because she was like, neither one of us are working and you're spending money.
Yeah.
And, but I built a computer by hand, all by myself, it's not hard. Um, I got a cockpit built and I've got, force feedback and pedals and shifters and all this stuff. And I was up until 2 o'clock in the morning, night before last, racing. I was racing in the Menard Arca series and eating it up, man. I love that Arca series Chevy Impala, man. And you have to shift, it's a 4 speed, none of that sequential crap. I
And
love
um,
it. So much fun.
so I
Other than
guess
that,
in yeah,
it's both of us are really tied to. I just got a PSVR 2, which is awesome. But my wife, she'll come home from work and she'll be like, "Oh, good, Jeopardy's on." And then as soon as Jeopardy's over, she's like, "Got to go to Hogwarts." Hogwarts Legacy. Dude, it's a lot.
Jeopardy with
It's a
Jeopardy
lot of
with
fun.
Jeopardy with Alex Trebek. God rest your soul.
Yeah,
Yeah,
poor Alex, but he had a good
yeah,
run.
he
I mean,
really
holy
did. Yeah,
crap. I mean, he was the host of Jeopardy for like a million years. And before that, he was on a whole bunch of other game shows.
yeah,
Tons. What a great career.
yeah. So is
The cancer gets people.
oh,
they
yeah,
got the cancer. Ugh.
yeah. Yeah, sure hope we got a cure for it, but that's a whole different,
Well, I
podcast
mean,
altogether.
it's getting better.
Yeah,
I mean, they're able
I'm,
to extend people longer. Some cancers they can actually wipe out now. So
yeah,
it's we're all close.
I'm just glad that, I mean, we can say the same for the pandemic. I mean,
Mm,
knock on wood, I'm hoping that it improves at some point in the future, God
man,
willing. Um,
I
yeah,
lost
so,
I
I'm sorry?
lost my sense of taste. I
Oh,
had
God.
COVID, but it was I got the COVIDs, but it was a very, very mild case.
Mine was too.
Um,
Yeah, I got it back in August last
I
year.
felt
And
like
fun, yeah,
I had a cold, you know,
yeah,
but
I did
then all
too.
of a sudden I couldn't smell anything. I couldn't taste anything. Even you know how much flavor there is in a quarter pounder with cheese, right?
Mm-hmm,
McDonald's.
mm-hmm.
I could not taste it. Do you know how devastating that is?
Oh man, like I don't think I've lost my sense of taste or smell, but I just
Oh,
it
it
was it, it
was
was icky. Yeah.
only 3 days, which is insane because my stepdaughter, she when she got COVID, I think she said she lost her sense of smell and stuff for like 3 or 4 weeks. And I lost for like 3 days. And I was sitting in not what we consider the living room. My wife was in there. I was in another room watching YouTube videos. And all of a sudden I was like, I went, what are you cooking? She's like, oh, I'm making this lemon orzo soup I wanted to try to make. And I went, I can smell it. And I freaked out. I was like, I can smell it. And I went in and I grabbed a spoon and I tasted it and I went, you put too much lemon juice in this.
You'd be
Oh,
surprised
it
how that does the trick.
just like that. I mean, it just went, just turned back on that fast. It was insane. We're
Yeah,
gonna have to
I
do a part three.
Yeah, we can actually do. Yeah, that's gonna be our final part. So yeah, just real quick, I just want to mention my little COVID story. I
Yeah, sure.
guess
Go ahead.
since nobody asked for it, but I'm just gonna say it anyways. But yeah, I got it back in August of last year.
Yeah.
And I have a really good immune system and everything, but it lasted up for like 2 weeks for me. But I was just like, I fought like a trooper, I was just, it mostly just impacted, I guess, God, I don't even know. Like, it was my sore throat, I had a headache, and just body was just
Yeah.
feeling like
Yeah.
crap. So I, let me tell you, as somebody who likes to eat, it just was devastating that every time I swallow, it was like somebody, no, this is how I describe it. It was like somebody had like a knife and just sliced
Oh,
some of
dude,
my vocal.
that sounds like you kind of had strep at the same time.
Yeah, strep throat. That's what I had. I know I had strep throat, even though I went to the doctor and they didn't like diagnose it. I know I had strep throat because there was like
Strep,
no way that I could like I would be my throat when was never in this much pain before.
man. Yeah,
Yeah,
strep is so horrible.
it is.
I mean, you can't
Yeah,
even drink water without it being
I know.
extremely painful, you know?
It's like agony. And also, what really sucks too is like, yeah, around that same time too, it's like I planned to go to a convention in Long Beach, and that
Mhm.
I think Charles Martinet was one of the guests there. So this happened like 2 weeks before I was able to go, and I just wasn't able to because I was still recovering. So
Yeah.
yeah, hopefully this year I'll see him in person at one of these events over here in LA. So
Well,
fingers crossed, man.
man, I
Fingers
mean,
crossed.
I still have my fingers crossed to eventually make it to San Diego, you know?
Oh
'Cause
yeah, San
that's
Diego's
the
really nice.
that's the pinnacle, you know? That's the biggest Comic-Con in the world, you know?
Yeah, we'll talk more about
But
that in part 3. So stay tuned for part 3, folks.